So today's class we will be discussing on the connection that is used for your connection that is used for your design of steel structures. The connection that is used for design of steel structures. As I told you before, steel elements will not be available as what you have designed for. You need to make it into different parts. You need to join together. So as you are joining different parts together, the connections are unavoidable. There will be definitely connections coming. So you need to design those connections, and the connections, that is, I told you, connections are unavoidable. The design of connections are important, very important. Can you tell me why design of connections are very important? Because suppose you are having a plate element like this. You are having a plate element like this. You are having a plate element like this. Another element is there. Another element is there. Another element is there like this. So when you are connecting these two elements, suppose when you are connecting these two elements, it became a single element like this. It became a single element like this. You connected it with some bolting arrangement or some riveting arrangement or some welding arrangement. Okay. So if I'm taking this element alone, and this element alone, and I'm applying some force, it will take much force, right? It will take larger force. But if I'm applying a force together over here, then one second. So if I'm applying a force like this over here, what will happen? See, at this point, the section will be very much weak. The section will be weaker at this point, right? The section will be weaker at this point, which means at the connections are the weakest link in your weakest link. So we need to design it properly. Otherwise, anyway, this is unavoidable. There should be connection, that is unavoidable, but that should be designed in such a way that it will take the sufficient amount of load. Whatever load is coming in this structure, whatever load together is coming in here, the load will be transferred towards here also. So it is to be designed very properly. Second one, the connection failure is not usually ductile. Can you tell me why the connection failure is not ductile? Can you tell me, someone please? Can you tell me why the connection failure is not ductile?
It may break or
yeah, if something happens, if when it starts failing, for a ductile material, the failure is gradual. It is a gradual failure for a ductile material. When you see for an RC, that is a reinforced steel and concrete, reinforced steel is ductile when compared to concrete. When the concrete fails, it fails suddenly. There is a brittle failure. Similarly, for a steel structure connection, the connection part is what is brittle. That is, there occurs a sudden failure in case of what connection. So we cannot call the connection failure as a ductile failure. So it will be a sudden failure. There won't be any alarming time or nothing like that. Okay. So the different types of connections that you are going to study here is the different types of connections generally are riveted connection, bolted connection, and welded connection. Hope you have seen this riveted connection. Have you seen this riveted connection? Riveted connection കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? You might have seen this riveted connection at certain places. നിങ്ങൾ plate elements join ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി ചില വണ്ടികളിലും, then some certain aluminum works nowadays you can see the riveted connection being used, and bolted connection and welded connection. So our scope of study is limited to, nowadays we don't much prefer much on the riveted connection. We prefer a lot on welded connection, and we prefer a lot on your bolted connection. We prefer a lot on bolted connection and welded connection. So your scope of study is limited to bolted connection and welded connection, because nowadays this has got more advantage than your riveted connection. So you may please note down your first assignment. Please note on your first assignment, briefly write about the different types of steel connections with neat sketches. That is, you need to write a brief note on the different types of connections, that is your riveted connection, bolted connection and welded connection with neat sketches. This has to be submitted on 10/9 to 2020 before 5 p.m. We have around 15 days. We have around 14 days, 2 weeks time is there. So please submit at that time. So please write the question. Briefly write about the different types of steel connections with neat sketches. If it is done, please tell me. Okay, if you have written this, please tell me. Okay. If you have written this, please tell me. Briefly write about the different types of steel connection with neat sketches. As I told you, there are three connections, that is riveted, bolted and welded connection. You need to study bolted and welded connection. When you are writing the assignment, please do write it for both three types. Okay, that is riveted, bolted and welded. More focus should be given on bolted and welded connection. So can I go to next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now the primary thing, or the first important thing that you're going to study in this is TOS, is the bolted connection. Have you seen this bolted connection? Have you seen this kind of connection? Have you seen this kind of connection?
Yes, sir.
before? That is bolted connection. Okay. Here this is being connected, the truss element is being connected to a gusset plate. You will study in detail what is this gusset plate and all. It is being connected, this is an RC structure, this is being connected to a steel structure. There is a composite structure here. Okay. So a bolt is a metal pin with a head formed at one edge and a shank threaded at the other in order to receive a nut. So I will tell you in detail what is this. This is just the definition of what is a bolt. Then a joining piece of metal by inserting through holes and tightens with nut at a threaded edge. You might have seen how the bolt is being inserted, right? There will be a small hole drilled inside first. Then we will insert the bolt. The bolt will be like this. We will insert the bolt here. Then it will be fastened with the nut. Right? It will be fastened with the nut. So that is the arrangement of a bolted connection. You might have seen these different types of bolted connection like here. So this is this bolt or nut? Which is it? What is this? Excuse me. What is this? Which is the bolt here? Say the link. The bolt. What is this sticked one called as? What is this sticked one called as?
Bolt.
The ticked one is bolt and the second the ticked one is bolt and this is the nut. Okay, so you're going to study the design of this bolted connection. Excuse me. Okay. Now you need to see some of the terminologies used in this design of bolted connection. This portion of your bolt is called as a head, and this area is called as your shank area. And this we'll call this as head. Okay, it's not headed, head. And this portion is called as your threaded area. This portion is called as threaded area. And the diameter corresponding to this shank area is called as the nominal diameter. Diameter corresponding to the shank is called as the nominal diameter. So a bolt will be represented by its nominal diameter. Always a bolt is represented by its nominal diameter, and the diameter corresponding to the area, that is the shank area, there is no thread, is called as the nominal diameter. Can you tell me which area is the shank area or threaded area more? Which is more? Which area is more? Is this the shank area or this is the threaded area? Which is more? Can you please tell? Or should I call the names? Is that fine? Which area will be more? Is it the shank area or threaded area? There is no response. I don't know why.
Threaded area.
Which is more? Is it the shank area or threaded area?
Area.
The threaded area is more. No. The shank area will be more, right? Because for the same area here, there is some reduction due to this. There is some reduction due to this, right? For the same area, there is some reduction. So, which means the shank area will be more. The shank area will be more. So, if I am applying a force, through which portion of this, that is this total length is this one. This is the total length. Through which portion of this is the through which portion will the bolt fail? If I am applying some force, I am applying a force with my hand. Through which portion does the bolt fail? Through which portion does the bolt fail? Should I ask the question to certain people? It's very difficult to go out again. That's it.
Threaded area.
The threaded area. Definitely the threaded area, the bolt will fail, right? Because the area is very much less. As a result, it will fail definitely through the threaded area. Example is like you are taking a stick. One is thinner and the other one is somewhat thicker. For the same length, you are taking the stick. You are applying some force. Definitely the smaller one will fail, right? Here also the same thing happens because the area is lesser. So the failure always takes place through what? The failure always takes place through your threaded area. Okay. So here is the thing. That is this area this portion is called as the thread, and that is the other one is not. This place where it finishes is called as the run out. The other portion where it's very smooth is called as the shank area. This is the radius. This radius actually is the nominal radius. Okay, this radius is also called as the nominal radius. That is a representation of your bolt. This is the head of your bolt. There is a grip length. This is a thread length, and the total length is called as the nominal length. The total length is called as nominal length. So you need to study what these different terminologies represent in the case of a bolted connection. So can I move to the next slide? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So these are the different types of connections. You'll study some of the connections in the coming modules. Like when you want to connect a beam and a column and a beam. When you want to connect a column and a beam like this, we will use, and the beam is being connected to the flange or the web of the column. So this is the connection seen here. See, this is the connection here. Then when we want to connect the beam to the beam, that is one beam is running in this direction, the other beam is running in this direction. When we want to connect it like this, when we want to connect two beams like this, when the one beam is connected to the flange, the other beam is running in this direction, it is connected to the web of the beam. Then this is the gusset plate. First figure I have told when I have shown you the design of connection. That is, this is the figure representation. Hope you might know. I have shown you one figure like this here. See this figure. So this is being represented. Here in this form. See, this is the figure which was I have shown before. Then you can see for your base foundation. You might have seen this in your railway station. You might sit here. You might sometimes sit over here. This place. They used to sit here. That is, you have your steel column going like this. There the steel column rests on a base plate. You have the design of this base plate, and on the base plate is being attached to a pedestal. This is called as a pedestal. That will be concrete, and it will be bolted or it will be joined by your it will be joined by a J bolt. This is joined actually by a J bolt arrangement. You can see here this is a J bolt arrangement. So some of the things which we see here, the connections are some of the examples of your bolted connections, and you will study some of these design of these connections in the coming modules. So I just want to make you understand these are the different types of connections possible in a steel structure using what? Bolt. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
If
Yes.
you have any doubt, you should ask in between. Okay, you can tell me in between. It's fine. If you have any doubt, we'll clear that and go. Okay, because it's very difficult for me to understand whether you have any doubt when you are sitting like this. I can't see your faces first of all. If you have any doubt, usually in the classes we'll see in your faces and we'll understand whether you haven't understood or not. Here it's not possible, so you need to tell me. Okay, it's fine if you tell me you don't understand. I can repeat 100 times, no problem, but you need to get the things clear. That's the main thing. Okay, next is the type of bolts, the different types of bolts. That is the different types of bolts used. That is, first one is unfinished black bolts. Unfinished bolts, or it is also called as black bolts. Okay, it is also called as black bolts. Then the finished or turned bolts, and the high friction strength friction HSFG bolt. This is also called as HSFG bolts. It's also called as HSFG bolts. Okay, so you're mainly going to see the design using the black bolt. You're going to mainly see the design using the black bolt. Okay, so write the next question. Explain the different types of bolt with sketches. That's your assignment number 1, question number 2. Explain the different types of bolt with sketches. Explain the different types of bolt with sketches. This can be asked for your exam. That's why I'm giving you. You need to study by yourself. If you have any doubt, I will clear you. Okay. Explain the different types of bolt. You have different types of bolt here as your black bolt, turn bolt, and HSFG bolt. You need to have a detailed study on these 3. Explain the different types of bolt with sketches. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes. Now I'll just explain you simply what all the important things required for your numericals. Unfinished bolt or black bolt. Okay. So these bolts are made from your mild steel. You have studied your mild steel rods, right? These are made from mild steel with rectangular or hexagonal heads. They have either rectangular, with square or hexagonal heads. Okay. These bolts are available in sizes of 12 mm, 16 mm, 20 mm, 22 mm, 24 mm, 27, 30, 36. But generally we use 16, 20, 24, 30, and 36. Generally we use the diameters. These are the available diameters. That is 12, 16, 20, 22 are available. But generally we use what? 16, 20, 24, 30, and 36 mm for construction. The bolts are designated as M20. That is M20 means it is 20 mm dia bolt. Okay, it is 20 mm dia bolt. M20 means it is 20 mm dia bolt. M20 means it is 20 mm dia bolt. The IS, that is Indian Standard 1364. You can see part 1. You can see the specification of this black bolt. This is rarely used in structural elements to be connected. The holes are made larger than the nominal diameter of the bolt. Shanks of black holes are unfinished. That is, we have seen before, the shanks are unfinished. The bolt may not establish contact with the structural member at entire zone of contact surface. The thing is that in order to fix this bolt, what we do is first we will drill a hole. And if we are drilling the hole with the same diameter as that of your bolt, this bolt won't go through, right? This bolt won't go through. So what we do is we will make a hole which is somewhat to 1 or 2 mm higher than that of your shank area, that of your nominal radius, and we will insert this bolt into the hole through some mechanism. Okay, so there occurs what? There occurs some gap between your member connected as well as your bolt, and as a result the load transfer won't be quite good. Joints remain quite loose, resulting into larger deflection. That is, due to this, what will happen? There will be sufficient gap between your bolt and your watch and your elements. As a result, there will be when the load comes, when repeated load comes, what will happen? This will become loose, and there occurs larger deflection on your structure. These bolts are used for, that is why these bolts are very much used for light structures under static loads. Under static loads means what? There won't be much variation in load. The load will be constant throughout, and such loads we use these black bolts. Okay, like temporary constructions, trusses, bracings, etc. The loads won't vary much. They are not that much big structural elements like trusses, bracings, then temporary structures. They won't carry much of your structural load, as those we will construct using what? The black bolt. Now, advantages of the black bolt are the following are the advantages of the black bolt over riveted or welded making. So this is the advantage of the black bolt over the welded and riveted connection. It's not that it has got good advantage. It is the advantage over certain different kind of connections. That's all. Okay, it doesn't require much labor. It's very easy. Even in a non-skilled labor can what? A non-skilled labor can do the connection, or the connection all need less labor. There is not much need of labor. Connections can be made very quickly. Structure can be put into use immediately when you want it, especially the temporary structures. When you want it, it is being made to sudden use. So this can be used with the help of this black bolt. Accommodates minor dispensaries in dimension. That is, even though there is somewhat, if you are having a difference in while the time of, as I told you, there is no need of skilled labor at the time of your construction. If there is minor adjustments or minor changes, this can be accommodated very easily in the case of what? In the case of your black bolt. These are different advantages of the black bolt. Okay, and working area required the field is also very less. Alternations can be done very easily. These things are the advantages of the black bolt. Fine. And the disadvantage of this black bolt is the tensile strength is reduced considerably due to the stress concentration and reduction of area at the root of the threads. As I told you, the threaded area, the area is being reduced. As a result, the stress or the strength is considerably reduced at that point, and there might be a chance of failure at that point. Okay, that is, as the area is very much less when compared to the higher area, the chance of failure is very much high at that point. The rigidity of the joint is reduced due to loose fit. As I told you, there in order to accommodate the bolt into this, we require some higher larger diameter holes. As a result, there occurs some there will be a loose fit between the bolt and the element which is being connected, and results into excessive deflection. Due to vibration, nuts are likely to loosen, endangering the safety of the structure. This you might have experienced in case of your cycles, and you might have seen this. The nuts are likely to loosen because of the vibration. When you are applying a load continuously at different parts or different intervals of time with different variation, there occurs the loosening of the nut. As a result, the structure is not safe at all. So these are the disadvantages of the unfinished black bolts. These are the disadvantage of the unfinished black bolts. Here it may be noted that most of these disadvantages can be overcome by using HSFG. I have told you, that is high strength friction grip bolts. When you are using this HSFG, that is your high strength friction grip bolts, whatever disadvantages I have told here will be taken care by that one. That is, these are the very much highly used bolt nowadays in the construction, that is HSFG bolts, but it's very costly, but still these are the very, very good bolts used for steel connections. So when you are writing your assignment, include these things, that is, explain the different types of bolt and with sketches. At that time you will understand these advantages and disadvantages of this black bolt, then turn bolt, as well as HSFG bolts. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Sir, I have
Yes.
a doubt.
Yes, tell me.
Sir, black bolts are the ones that have rings on them, right? In the types of bolts, there are three pictures of
Yes,
them.
yes, yes.
What are the purposes of those black rings, sir?
This is actually increases the grip between the surface, and this is actually when you are making a hole into this, you're tightening with the help of what, a spanner or something like that. You need to go inside
Yes,
and you
sir.
need to fix it properly inside that groove.
Okay.
So if you are providing it with a without this grip or without this turnings, what will happen? It will be simply like a nail, right? You cannot apply a spanner or
Oh,
something like that.
okay. So what material would it be made of? Is it the same as the nail or is it something else?
Of mild steel actually. This is made of mild steel. This is
Okay.
having a strength of around 240 Newton per. Its yield strength is around 240 Newton per mm square, and its ultimate will come around 400. And when you go to the stern bolt, it is same. But when you go to the HSFG bolt, it is having some other kind of load transfer as well as some higher quality materials are being used. So that's why I told you, when you
Okay.
study this, when you read through some textbooks, standard textbooks or some articles, you will understand the different types of this. And if you have further doubt after writing this, please consult me. I can explain you. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Now the next one is different types of joints. Okay. This is one of the other thing that you need to understand. Suppose I'm having a plate element like this. Okay. I'm having a plate element like this. Consider this as a plate element. One plate like this and another plate like this. Consider this as one of your notebook, okay? One small notebook and one long notebook. You need to connect these together. You need to connect these together. That is, you need to connect this element. You need to connect this element and this element together. Okay. The first thing or the symbol and foremost thing what you'll do is what? You'll connect it like this, right? And you'll keep one plate over the other, and you'll connect it with the help of a bolt like this. You'll drill a hole, you'll drill a hole like this, you'll drill a hole like this, and you'll connect it with the help of a bolted arrangement. And this simple way of connecting is called as a lap joint. The simple way of connecting two metal pieces or two structural steel elements using bolted connection is called as lap joint. Is it okay? Can you imagine this? Are you able to visualize this one? There is
Yes, sir.
one element is connected over the other, it is being lapped of the other, and there is a hole being made, and it is being connected with the help of a bolt. And this simple arrangement of connection is called as a lap joint. The second one is for the same element. What I'll do, I need to connect it together. What I use is I will use a covering plate. And I will make the connection this way. That is, I will use this. There is no lapping of the structural elements. There is no lapping. Only at the junction I will provide this covering plate. At the junction I will provide this covering plate. At the junction I will provide this covering plate, and we'll put the hole inside this covering plate, such that we'll put the hole inside this covering plate along with the main element, and we'll tighten with the help of a bolt. And this type of joint is called as a butt joint. Now can you tell me, what should be the thickness of the cover plate? If this is, I'm taking this, the thickness of the main plate as T P, and taking this as TP, thickness of the main plate as TP, and this is called as the cover plate, right? This is called as the cover plate, and this I am calling as TC. What is the condition? Is it TP greater than TC or TC greater than TP? What should be the condition when you are designing? What should be the condition? You're having the thickness of your main plates as TP and thickness of your cover plate as TC. What should be the condition? Is it TP greater than TC, greater than or equal to TC? Oh, sorry, is it TP greater than TC or TC greater than TP? What should be the condition? Based on your understanding or based on your basic knowledge, can you tell me what condition? leave it. So suppose I am applying a force like this. I am applying a tensile force like this. I am applying a tensile force T like this. Tensile force T like this. At some point, what will happen? At some point, this plate will fail, right? At some point, this plate will fail, right? Isn't it? So, if the thickness is more when compared to the thickness of this element, this cover plate is very much less, what will happen? The failure occurs. This force will be transferred to here also, right? The force will be transferred to here also. The first failure occurs for the cover plate, isn't it? If the thickness of the cover plate is very much less to the cover plate thickness of your main plate, what will happen? What will happen? The failure will take place at the due to the cover plate. That must be avoided because this cover plate is just an element used for connection, and if that connection fails, there will be a brittle failure, and this failure should not take place. That's why always we'll provide a cover plate. We'll provide a cover plate which is having thickness greater than or equal to what? Your main plate. This must be kept in your mind because the cover plate should not fail. If the cover plate fails, there occurs what? On connection failure, which means that must be avoided. So always the thickness of the cover plate should be greater than or equal to what? Your thickness of the main plate. Have you understood that? Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when coming to double cover butt joint, that is, here we will be providing the cover plate at the top as well as at the bottom of your connection, or both the main plates are over here. The connection, the top plate and the bottom plate will be provided like this, and the hole will be drilled in such a way that the arrangement of the connection will be this way. And this type of connection is called as your double cover butt joint. Okay, double cover butt joint. Now for a double cover butt joint, suppose this is TC1, that is thickness of cover plate 1, and this is TC2, and this is your TP. For a double cover butt joint, sigma TCI, that is your thickness of the cover plate, total thickness of the cover plate, that is TC1 plus TC2 must be greater than or equal to what? Must be greater than or equal to TP. Have you understood? That is your thickness of the cover plate TC1 plus TC2 must be greater than what? Or equal to what? TP. Otherwise, what will happen? There occurs what? There occurs the connection failure, and that must be avoided. So when you are connecting by double cover butt joint, suppose this element, this is 10 mm, this is 10 mm, the thickness of this should be minimum 5 mm, and better make it arranged properly in symmetrical order. This should be minimum 5 mm and 5 mm. Preferably this should be 6 mm and this should be 6 mm, so that the connection failure won't take place. Have you understood this? Have you understood? So the different types of joints used in a bolted connection are lap joint, where you place both your plates one over the other, and you will connect it by simple bolted arrangement. The second one is a butt joint, where you place a cover plate over your main plates and you will connect it together. And the third one is your double cover butt joint, where you place it together. For these elements, for this also you can have another line of bolt here, okay. For this also you can have another line of bolt here like this. It's fine. So this figure I had just shown you a single line of bolt. You can have for a single cover butt joint also. You can have two line of bolts. It's fine. So here also you can have a single line of bolt. This also you can have a single line of bolt, or two line of bolt, or three line of bolt. It depends upon the design of number of bolts required for the connection. So is it okay up to here? Do you have any doubts up to here? Do you have any doubts up to here? Okay, fine. Now I'll just summarize it. So lap joint, it is the simplest type of joint. In this, the plates to be connected overlap one another. In butt joint, this type of connection, the two main plates butt against each other and the connection is made by providing a single cover plate connected to the main plate or by double cover plates, one on either connected to the main plates. Okay, so here some of the terminologies that we'll discuss in the next class. I know it's very difficult for you, your vacation has started, but still the terminologies we'll discuss in the next class. Okay.